You know, when most people think back to their childhood, they think about going out, riding their bikes with their friends, playing in a playground, and going to their grandparents' house and lighting their backyard on fire. Just me? Hi. Are we rolling? I was very clumsy as a kid, which resulted in me getting into a lot of weird and often painful situations, like all the times I got burnt. Yes, I said all of the times, this wasn't an unusual occurrence for me. When I was a kid, me and my brother used to go and stay at my grandparents' house. My grandparents lived out in the bush, and my pop at the time was a fireman. So whenever we would go up there, we would help my pop do burn-offs to get ready for bushfire season, whilst he told us about fire safety. Although I never really paid attention. I just really like setting things on fire. Anyway, the first time I remember getting burnt was on one of these days. We just finished helping out, and I don't exactly remember what events led to this, but somehow, me, my brother, and I think my cousins were there too, were in the middle of the bush with a box of matches and no adults in sight. This could only end well. I want to clarify, we weren't that far away from the house and my nan was watching us from inside the whole time, but we thought we were alone. We decided to make a fire, just for fun, you know? And this actually went well. No burns, no out of control fire, no nothing. But then, again, I don't remember why, but we all found a stick each and were trying to light the ends of them on fire to make a flaming torch. I say trying because it had just finished raining, so the sticks were all wet and weren't lighting. And because they weren't lighting, we decided to make it into a game of first one to light their stick on fire wins. We all stood around this tiny fire we made, trying our hardest to light these sticks on fire, and then it happened. The end of my stick caught alight, and for once in my life, I actually won something. The end of my stick was actually on fire, for about 5 seconds before it went out again. And because 6-year-old me was an idiot, I decided it was a good idea to touch the end of a stick that had just been on fire. Not just poke it, but wrap my whole hand around it. It was hot and painful. I ran inside, told my grandparents I'd burnt my hand, and my pop, who had been training for this his whole life, jumps out of his chair, rushes over doing a double somersault on the way while superhero music plays in the background and yells, "Run it under cold water for 20 minutes!" Okay, I might have exaggerated that a bit, but you get the point. The second time I remember getting burnt was at a friend's house. I can't remember if it was a birthday or New Year's Eve or something, but either way there were sparklers involved. Anyway, we were running around with sparklers, and you know how when a sparkler goes out it stays lit and orange for a few seconds? For some reason my kid brain was fascinated with this. And because I didn't learn from the first time, I decided to touch it. Kinda like...
Ow, don't touch it, dumbass. It burns. Just stare at it and wonder. Ow.
Although I did learn slightly because instead of putting my whole hand around it this time, I only poked it and burnt the end of my finger. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to look like an idiot, so I just kind of snuck away into the bathroom for 20 minutes and ran my finger under cool water. The last time I remember burning myself was on bonfire night. For anyone who doesn't know, bonfire night was a night where people would gather, make massive bonfires, and set off fireworks. You can't do this anymore because whenever anything is fun, the government likes to ban it because it's not safe or whatever. Also, anyone who thinks they know where the story is going is completely wrong. So it was bonfire night and the whole family was at my grandparents' house. We were all sitting around the table eating dinner. I'd finished my dinner and instead of being polite and waiting for everyone else to be done, I decided to get up and take my plate over to the sink. Where I was sitting at the table was I had my back to a wall and the only way out was to squeeze between the back of someone else's chair and a lit wood fire heater. You know, one of those metal ones that you throw wood in, close the door, and the heat comes out the vents at the top. In a situation like this, most normal people would say something like, "Excuse me." The person would pull in their chair a bit and they would get through injury-free. But oh no, that would be way too easy. So what I decided to do was to go into super skinny mode to get through the gap. One thing I didn't account for was the bricks surrounding the heater that my foot caught on, and in that split second, I had a choice to make. 1, I either fall face first into a wall, or 2, I put my hand onto a boiling heater in an attempt to catch myself. By reading the title of this video, you can probably guess which one I picked. I managed to catch myself before I fell, but I think I just burnt my hand. Uh-oh. Run it under cold water for 20 minutes. Yes, I know, Pop. And that's how I managed to burn myself on bonfire night before we'd even made a bonfire. If you're gonna take anything from this video, it's that number 1, don't play with fire. And number 2, if you ever burn yourself, just run it under cold water for 20 minutes.